Welcome everyone to Something to Talk About from the Bainbridge Island Senior Community Center, sponsored by Fieldstone Communities, Bainbridge Island. Fieldstone offers innovative and compassionate care, now accepting residents. They also offer day stay and respite programs. Call 360-689-4314 to schedule a tour of Fieldstone's beautifully appointed apartments on Rolling Bay today. I'd also like to take a moment to acknowledge that the Senior Community Center is on the ancestral homeland of the Coast Salish people, specifically the Suquamish tribe, the people of the clear salt water. We honor them and are grateful for their hospitality. So thank you everyone again for joining us and those who are watching. I am so glad to have with us today Misty from HRB, the Independent Living Program. I know she's put together a wonderful new presentation. So if you've maybe seen some of the HRB Independent Living presentations in the past, this might be some new information for you. So Misty, thank you so much for being with us today. I'm going to turn the mic over to you now.
Wonderful. Thank you, Katie. Thank you to the Senior Center for having me today. And hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Yes, so I'm Misty Eberspecher, and I run the Independent Living Program through Housing Resources Bainbridge. And I have created, in fashion for our Fall Prevention Week currently going on, I've created a fall prevention presentation for everyone in hopes that folks might even just get one thing out of it that could be helpful. So thank you all for joining us again, and I'll go ahead and get started. So first, of course, independent living fall prevention, helping our community remain safe and independent in their homes is my goal, which is a lot of people's goals, but I'm here to help that. So welcome all. So happy you could join us today. Is there anyone, and Katie, maybe you can help me with this, with the chat, can anyone tell me one fall prevention step that you can take in your own home?
So I have one that I always think of immediately, and that's scatter rugs. They're having lots of different rugs. I've been trained now by you all to pay attention to that.
Yes, definitely, definitely. And I find too that sometimes, you know, there's the favorite rug that happens to be a scatter rug, and just ways that you can work around that is double-sided tape. You know, making sure that all the edges are taped down properly. So that's one recommendation. Obviously, scatter rugs are not the safest, but if there is someone, you know, in the family that just can't do without that rug, the double-sided sticky tape is definitely a good alternative to that, and that can be very helpful. Great. Well, thank you, Katie. I appreciate that. Let's see here. We're going to go ahead and go on. So first of all, I just kind of want to, you know, ask that question. Why does fall prevention matter? Well, more than a quarter of Washington residents over age 65 fall each year, and that's quite a lot. In just 2019 in Washington, there were over 14,000 non-fatal hospitalizations for falls among adults age 65 and older. And in that, you're thinking a tiny little fall, just one fall. But then you have that whole, you know, months and months and months of recovery. There's potential for that. And so the cost and just everything that goes along with that is something that I want to try and help avoid for folks. The total number of deaths from falls more than doubled from 393 in 2000 to over 974 in 2019. So that's a big increase. And just on Bainbridge Island, where we live in this wonderful community, for over age 65 and up, more than 26% of the population in 2021. So that's a lot of folks that we can assist with fall prevention on the island here. If we all can, help out and maybe take, like I said, just even one little nugget from today, then we're being helpful. And on average, you're looking at, for the cost of a fall injury, over $34,000. So that's quite significant cost that folks just aren't really able to afford. It's not like we all just have that sitting around. So let's try and work together and, prevent as many falls as we can. Okay, so for today, I went ahead and pulled some information off of the National Council on Aging, some things that I've seen recently about the myths of older adult falls. So as you can imagine, many people think that falls are a normal part of aging. The truth is they're not. Most falls can be prevented, and we all have the power to reduce the risk of falls. Of course, exercising, managing your medications, having your vision checked, making your living environment safer are all the steps that you can take to help prevent a fall. To promote greater awareness and understanding, we're going to discuss 10 common myths and the reality about older adult falls. Myth number 1, falling happens to other people, not to me. It's very common. I hear that quite often. But the reality is many people think it's not going to happen to them. But the truth is, let me go back. Sorry about that. The truth is that 1 in 4 older adults fall every year in the United States. So even though you think it's not going to be you, it could be. And so the fall prevention, that can be big, very big. Myth number 2, folks feel like falling is something that is normal as you get older. But the reality is falling is not a normal part of aging. Strength and balance exercises, managing your medications, having your vision checked, making your living environment safer are all steps that you can take to prevent a fall. It's not a normal part of aging, and there's lots we can do to help prevent the falls. Myth number 3, if I limit my activity, I'm not going to fall. And that, if you stay home and you don't do anything, maybe. But the reality is that, some people do believe that the best way to prevent a fall is to stay home and limit the activity. But that's not true. Performing physical activities such as Tai Chi, yoga, walking, and swimming will all actually help you stay independent as your strength and range of motion benefit from remaining active. Social activities are also good for overall health. So being in this wonderful community that we have at Bainbridge Island, there's so many social activities that we all can do together, and we can help each other out. As long as I stay home, I can avoid falling. Well, actually, over half of all falls take place in the home. You can inspect your home for fall risks, fix simple but serious hazards such as clutter, throw rugs like we were discussing, poor lighting, that's a big one. You walk into a room and it's really dark. Let's up that lighting. Let's add some night lights even. Make simple home modifications such as adding grab bars in the bathroom, a second handrail on the stairs, and non-slip adhesive tape to outdoor steps. A lot of times we have a transition in the stairs, and so if you can put a bright piece of tape on the edge, and then that helps you see the transition better. So that's just a simple thing that can be done as well.
And Misty, we have a little comment, added advice
Oh,
too
perfect.
about,
Yes.
thinking about keeping your cane or walker ready to go at home, so it's in an easily accessible place. So
Perfect.
if it's something that you use that, you know where it is at all times, and you're able to safely maneuver about.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. Thank you for that. Myth number 5, muscle strength and flexibility can't be regained. The reality is, while we do lose muscle as we age, exercise can partially restore strength and flexibility. And it's never too late to start an exercise program, even if you've been a couch potato your whole life. Becoming active now can benefit you in many ways, including protection from falls. Myth number 6, taking medication doesn't increase my risk of falling. This is something that I also hear often. The actual reality to that, though, is that taking any medication could increase your risk of fall. Medications often coincide with each other. So we always want to make sure, that your healthcare provider, we're talking about potential side effects or interactions of your medications, being careful when starting a new medication, because medications affect people in many different ways and can sometimes make you dizzy or sleepy. Even if, it's not a known side effect, can have a different effect on you. So we always want to use caution there. Myth number 7, I don't need to get my vision checked every year. Well, I can tell you, just from my personal experience, that's not true. I may not be a senior yet, but I'm closer than many will think. And I have to get my vision checked every year because eyes change. And vision is another key risk factor for falls. Aging is associated with some forms of vision loss that increase risk of falling and injury. People with vision problems are more than twice as likely to fall as those without visual impairment. So we want to make sure that our eyes are getting checked at least once a year and updating our eyeglasses. And for those with low vision, there are programs and assistive devices that can help. And always check with your optometrist for any extra referrals for any other devices. Okay, myth number 8, using a walker or cane will make me more dependent. A lot of folks don't like to use walkers or canes because they do think that can't seem to get this off of auto setup, and so it just keeps rolling on its own. So thanks for your patience. Walking aids are very important in helping many older adults maintain or improve their ability or mobility, excuse me. However, you always want to make sure that you're using these devices safely, and you can always take the walker to your physical therapist if you have one to ensure that you are using it correctly. And of course, I'm always happy to help. I'm just a phone call or an email away, so I will do what I can. Myth number 9, I don't need to talk to my family members or my healthcare provider if I'm concerned about my risk of falling. I don't want to alarm them, and I want to keep my independence. So, as you may or may not understand, fall prevention is a team effort. It really, really is. And we want to make sure that you guys are bringing it up with your doctor and your family and anyone else that's in a position to help. They want to help you maintain your mobility and reduce your risk of falling. And always remember, a fall could cost a lot more than you want, both physically and financially. And it might be hard at first to have that conversation, but it's going to reward you in the end for sure. Myth number 10, I don't need to talk to my parent or my spouse or another older adult if I'm concerned about their risk of falling. It will hurt their feelings and it's none of my business. So a lot of children of older adults feel that they don't need to have that conversation because they are worried about hurting feelings. One thing you can do is you want to let them know that you're concerned and offer the support to help them maintain the highest degree of independence possible. There's many things that we can do, and including removing the hazards in the home, finding a fall prevention program in the community, and setting up a vision exam. So again, this can be a tricky conversation to start if you are living with someone who needs assistance with fall prevention. And but again, it's going to be very beneficial to you. I can assure you that. And Katie, do we have any questions coming in before we move on?
No new questions coming in, but I do just really, I really appreciate that point and want to emphasize that there really are so many things that can be done. And I know sometimes there's just concern about, you know, oh, I can't go through a major remodel, or I don't know how I would be able to afford that. And I know we'll get to some of that, you know, further in the conversation, but I think, you know, point being is there are also so many small steps that can be taken, just minor modifications that can really make a huge difference, and just how important having those conversations with healthcare providers, loved ones are. Yeah, and I know also Reed's writing in now that we know that there's a lot of different organizations out there that can provide assistance. And so I know we'll also include that as well, but you know, groups like in visually impaired persons, VIP classes at the senior center, through HRB Independent Living. Yeah, just all sorts of great resources out there available. So anyways,
Yes.
I'll let you continue.
No, that's great. Thank you so much, Katie. I greatly appreciate all of the notes and information that you can provide. That's wonderful. Thank you. So of course we all want to take control of our health. And so next we're going to go ahead and talk about 6 steps to prevent a fall, things that we can do. And you were just talking about the classes, finding a good balance and exercise program. Look to build balance, strength, excuse me, and flexibility. Contact your local area on aging for referrals, and take a friend, you know, find somebody, one of your friends to go with you and do it together. And in case you didn't know, like Katie was just saying, the senior center has balance classes you can take, such as SAIL, and which is staying active and independent for life. There's also Tai Chi and yoga courses. So definitely give a call to the local senior center, Bainbridge, and they can hook you up with those, or check on their website. And let's see, number 2, of course, talking to your healthcare provider, asking for an assessment of your risk of falling. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more in a minute. Sharing your history of recent falls, and let's see, you always want to be an advocate for your own health. Your doctor should be doing a fall risk assessment for you and working with you to determine the next steps. So again, we're going to talk about those questions in a minute. Number 3, regularly reviewing your medications with your doctor or pharmacist. Again, this is, we want to make sure there's no negative interactions with our medications, and then being very careful when we always start something new, giving ourselves some time to get adjusted to the new medications. Getting your vision and hearing checked annually and updating your eyeglasses. Very, very important. This helps keep your balance, helps keep your body in control of what's happening. So number 5, keeping your home safe, removing those tripping hazards, increasing lighting, making stairs safe, installing some grab bars, which is all stuff that independent living here at HRB that I can help with. So any assistance in that, definitely give me a call, and we can take a look and see what modifications we can do to help keep your home safe. And talking to our family members, definitely enlisting their support. and taking these simple steps to stay safe, because falls really are not just a seniors issue. They're an everybody issue. I promise you that. So here I just listed some easy fall prevention tips for your home. Again, we've talked about the lighting. Again, these are all things that I can assist with. Adding some motion sensor lights in different areas in the home. A couple, we have some that I like to use, and I can provide you with that information too. My direct information will be at the end of the slideshow. So removing the clutter, removing the throw rugs, or using the double-sided tape to secure them. One thing too that we can do is always keeping things that you use often at waist level. So we can assess your kitchen, keeping those dishes that you use every day, bringing those to waist level, so that you're not doing the reaching or the having to bend down to get those needed items on a continual basis. And then our cords around our home, keeping those coiled and secured to the wall to avoid tripping. That could be a big one. And then I have the copies of the AARP Home Fit Guide. And so that has a lot of good ideas for things that we can do in the home that are fairly simple, but this is just a small section of it. And we're talking about, making sure that we have a fire extinguisher. One thing that can be super handy is switching out doorknobs to the lever style. That way, if, your hands are hurting or you're having some issues there, or your hands are full of groceries, you can use your elbow to maneuver that door. Also, the lighting is very, very, very popular. We want to upgrade the lighting and making sure that everything is well lit. And checking on our exterior entryways, making sure that those are well lit, well marked, a smooth entrance. That's what we want to avoid any trip hazards. And again, making sure, even though it might be hard at first, just remembering that it is a team effort. Family and friends really do want to help, and they really do care. We have this wonderful community here on Bainbridge, and there's just so many resources that we have. So definitely just don't try to do it alone, because it's we're all here to help. And you might be telling yourself, I'm healthy. I don't need to do this. Am I really at risk for a fall? Well, even healthy people and active people can fall, and the risks are very serious injury from a fall, and that increases as we age. Several risk factors such as osteoporosis, mild arthritis, they're not necessarily related to how healthy you look or feel. So we're going to talk about the risk preventions and some questions that you can go over with your doctor. Your doctor should be doing like a fall prevention screening. The questions will be similar to this. Has anybody done a fall prevention screening with their primary doctor?
No, but I'm very glad that you're bringing these questions up, because I know that yeah, being, as you mentioned, being an advocate for yourself when going into, your healthcare providers is really, really important. So yeah, considering these questions, very important.
Yeah. So it's going to have some questions similar to this. Your doctor might ask you, have I fallen in the past year? That's a yes or no question. I have been advised to use a cane or a walker to get around safely. Sometimes I feel unsteady when I'm walking. I typically steady myself by holding onto furniture when I'm walking around the home, which is also a big concern. So if you ever see anybody doing that in their home or out in the community, obviously there's some concerns there, and we need to figure out what is going on. You feel worried about falling, or when you're trying to get up from a chair, you need to really push with your hands to get out. Let's see, I have trouble stepping up onto a curb. That's can be pretty common. I have lost some feeling in my feet. Definitely something we definitely want to share with our doctor and figure out what's going on. And medication, again, it can be a big one. Sometimes makes me feel lightheaded, or more tired than usual. That's definitely something that we should be sharing with our doctor and figuring out, how we can move forward. So, and then some people do question if they really need to have their fall risk assessment done. And if you're feeling any of those answers were yes, then definitely talk with your doctor about anything that you're experiencing, because that way we get the doctor on board, figuring out how we can move forward and do it safely. So, and evidence from the CDC does show that answering these questions can help you and your provider better understand your risk for a fall. And answering these questions and sharing your report with your provider allows them to have additional information that can help you prevent a fall in the future. And if you do need a family member to assist you with that, then share with your son or daughter or a friend, that you're having some of these issues, and let them walk alongside you and assist you. And so then I just kind of want to touch base about how independent living here can assist you. Some various things that I can help with, helping plan for fall prevention, walking through the home with you, figuring out ways that we can move forward. I can project manage safety modifications, very first meeting from a phone call till the end of the project. So I take care of everything. We also can provide referrals to other services, other community organizations, and obtaining equipment for health and safety, like walkers, shower chairs. I can assist with that as well. And safety planning. Safety planning is a good thing to have on board in homes, so that we know, what's our next step if something does happen. And some of the modifications that we can help with, installing the grab bars, the railings, non-slip bath mats, changing out those faucets, higher toilets. Some of our toilets are pretty low, and so it's really tricky to get off of them. I know it's not necessarily a subject that everyone wants to talk about, but it's the truth. And we might need to install a higher toilet to make it easier for you and easier on your body. And that can be a huge, huge help. Exterior ramps, weatherization, lighting updates, and pretty much any other health and safety need. So definitely give me a call. Here's my direct phone number and my email. Give me a call and we can, see if there's anything that we can come up with. So I think, and then also, of course, if you want to learn more about falls, you can do www.ncoa.org/falls, and the National Council on Aging, lots and lots of good resources on their website. So thank you. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, Misty.
Of course.
Yes, it looks like we do have a few questions. Are there any income requirements to request services from HRB Independent Living?
Great question. Yes, I happened to leave that slide out this time, so I apologize for that. But yes, we for the funding that I get through the city for this program, it's a grant, and we base everything off of 80% AMI, so adjusted median income. For one household, we're looking at about 57,650 a year. And for two, let's see, right now we're looking at 65,850 a year for a two-person household. Yeah, just if you have any questions, just give me a call and we can see what we can come up with.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Misty. That's really helpful. And for folks who might be over that income limit, first of all, is there a little flexibility? So if a person's $100 over the income, is there flexibility there? And then also for folks who maybe are quite a bit over that limit, are there
Mhm.
other resources, other ways that they can be assessed, or also
Definitely.
seek out this information and yeah.
Definitely, definitely. I like to just have folks give me a call, whether or not they think that they may or may not qualify. And we can work through it on a case by case basis and see what we can come up with and provide other resources if the income is, doesn't quite cut it. Then we can definitely give some other resources and referrals for local folks that can do some work and that sort of thing.
Great. That's great to know. So if folks are feeling like they're kind of on the edge or a bit over the income levels, that they can still reach out,
Definitely,
get great information, still get resources, get
of
connected.
course.
So
Hmm.
sounds like please don't let that be a reason to not
No,
reach
no.
out. That's
Yeah.
great. And I had a question also, Misty.
Yeah.
So as far as other requirements, so let's say I'm somebody who is living independently in my home. I haven't had any falls. I'm overall in good health, but I am starting to think about the future. Is there a time that it's too early to reach out to you all, or just there need to be certain mobility criteria for somebody who's
Yeah.
interested?
Great question. Great question. So typically, as far as basic qualifications go, 62 and older, typically, or anyone that has a disability of some sort. So all folks, that have any sort of disability. But again, if someone's looking for questions, just kind of wanting to feel, what are some things that they can do. I definitely even, have the home fit guide I can hand out. So definitely resources that, are small things that they can do on their own. Or they can, then go hire somebody else if, the income doesn't quite cut it. But you can always just give me a call because I'm happy to help and happy to offer those resources.